Oh my God. I mean, it's amazing we survived the 80s, you know. I always tell you're probably like me, you know, that the 80s were the wildest times in rock and roll. But for me, and I can tell from you too, the career became more important than all that wildness, you know. The career becomes the most important thing. You start going, wait a minute, I can't do both at the highest level, so I'm going to pick the career.
Well, I will tell you that that there was definitely a kind of uh, a moment for our band where, I mean, REO was always known as a band that liked to have a good time. I mean, we started in the bars at the University of Illinois in Champaign, right? And all the guys, are just funny, cool, smart dudes. We always had fun. But right around 1982, we had the big 10 million seller in 1981, and in 1982, but at this point, we've got a security guy who's always carrying
Yeah.
a briefcase. No one's
Yeah.
quite sure what's in it. And we would check into the hotel. He would check into the presidential suite and spend the day, getting the stereo system in, changing all the light bulbs to call. So after the show, and we used to call it the dungeon. So after the show,
I love it.
Everybody would retreat to the dungeon, but it was, it wasn't just on Saturdays, it was every show. And it was no matter, you know how it is, no matter where you are, no matter what day of the week it is, when you come to town, everybody in that town, for them, it's like party time, man. REO's in town. Here we go, And right around 1982, I remember starting to go, you know what? The after party is starting to become more important than the actual show itself. And and I didn't like that. Now, I did not like it enough to stop doing it, but the thought occurred to me that our priorities have gotten out of whack, and that's kind of when we turned a corner and started, I mean, we didn't get as bad as some bands, but we definitely had our moments for sure.
Well, come on. It's like, look, you sold 10 million copies. You're young. The audience is young. I don't know about you, but when I was in Mellencamp, 82, that's when we sold American Fool was #1 record of the year. I mean, girls were throwing underwear and bras at us. And everybody was young. And what do you do when you're young? You have wild fun. And like you said, when you're in a rock and roll band, I mean, back in the 80s, people really, really looked up to you, and everybody wanted to get backstage. Everybody wanted to party with the band, and we're all like, well, come on, let's do it. Woo! But that's cool. When that light bulb goes off, that's I think I don't know where that comes from, but I remember asking a drummer who was famous for partying in a very famous band. I won't mention names, and I said, and he eventually had to become sober, and I said, so what was the thing that made you become? He said, dude, it got to the point where it's like, I better stop or I'm gonna lose my career. And he says, I don't want to lose my career. So yeah, I get it. Yeah.